Yes, people, it's Monday night, it's 10 o'clock, it's grounded football, it's Liverpool grounded football. I'm joined by one of my two normal guests. The other one, I'm reliably informed, is wrapping Christmas presents, becoming far too domesticated in his new abode. Um, get on as soon as you can, pal. We'll be good. How are you, Rack? You okay?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Work is exhausting, so yeah, that's keeping me busy. But luckily, the Reds gave me something to smile about over the weekend, and yeah,
So,
it was fantastic.
topics that might come into conversation tonight. Liverpool 4, Arsenal nil. Obviously, that's going to be there. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer finally falling on his sword, and Gareth Southgate's new contract, which he signed today. And that's the end of that. Don't want to talk about that. We won't mention that again. That's enough for that, isn't it? It's enough
Yeah,
coverage.
yeah. I mean, I vaguely heard something on the radio about it, and it didn't. I didn't feel anything, to be honest.
No, I never do, mate. Evening, Chris. Stick with us. We'll be joined by Doug shortly. So we might as well talk about Ollie while we wait for the Liverpool fan to come. And the one thing I want to speak about particularly, that interview. Talk
It
to
was.
me about your thoughts on that, Rack. I find that to be a bit odd. What did you think?
You know what? I thought about this, and I was trying to be a little bit self-critical, and because my initial thoughts were, this is weird, right? This is not normal. We don't normally see these kind of things. I understand he's well liked at the club and all that kind of stuff, but it feels odd. And I looked back at myself. I said, look, okay, fair enough, but he is all those things in terms of being a club legend and all that. Um, if you take away all the stuff about rivals laughing at it, does it make sense to communicate in this way to your own fan base? Like, forget about us and how we feel about it. Is it a nice way to say goodbye to a club legend? And I can see that if you frame it like that, maybe it makes some sense, but it's just not the done thing in football. And again, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but it felt like he was being carted out in front of the public um, to explain stuff, and the explanation was that we know he loves the club, we know results have been poor, we know pretty much that I think most people recognise that Ollie's probably, all the football stuff aside, he's probably a decent guy. Most people are decent people, but it still felt weird just the way that it was all set up. And I don't know, maybe it could have been done differently, and maybe it would have made me feel differently. But yeah, it felt odd, felt strange, and felt like he was almost being embarrassed without knowing about it.
But if you look back over the years, we've seen literally thousands of football managers lose their jobs for poor performance. I've never seen one do that before.
Exactly, exactly. This is why it's definitely not the norm. And that's that. And like I said, I I was trying to think. Okay, it's not the norm, but is there a reason to do it? Is there a good reason to do it? And the way that it was done, I kind of struggled to see that there was a good reason to it. And yeah, it felt odd. I don't think I haven't seen the whole thing, but I don't think it's executed that well. And it it felt like they were kind of exploiting a guy in his hour of. He was obviously felt some pain because no one wants to get sacked. No
Mm.
one wants to get sacked from the club you love, and it kind of felt a little bit like United were maybe exploiting that.
Well, it's a strange one, isn't it? Because there he is, very red eyed, clearly emotional, clearly upset. The clip's about 56 seconds long. He's struggling to keep it together during that clip. There's no dignity in that, is there?
No, this is why I think it felt like more like United were exploiting it rather than it being like a genuine yeah, being genuine or heartfelt. And yeah, and it's not like Klopp's obviously never going to get sacked at Liverpool, but if well, when because nothing lasts forever, when the day that Klopp leaves the club, he'll do an interview, and the tone will be very different. He won't be getting fired. Um, but can you imagine, like, after Brendan Rodgers left the club, or even after Kenny left the club, which is probably the most similar? can you imagine Kenny sitting there and having a chat, even though again he loves the club and stuff like that? I don't know. It felt odd, felt weird, and
It feels weird for me, largely because we've all known for a long time Ollie's not got the credentials and the skills to do the job. I have some sympathy with him for that reason, because here's a guy that loves Manchester United as much as anybody on the planet, clearly. He got offered his dream job. He's not going to turn it down, is he? He's never going to hold his hand up and say, I can't do this. The issue is with the hierarchy at Manchester United Football Club above him, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, there's lots wrong at the club, and I've kind of felt to some degree that they, at least in terms of recruitment and stuff like that, they're turning it around a little bit. All up until Ronaldo signed, and that's not because Ronaldo's not a great player. He's obviously over the years has proved to be one of the greatest players of all time, but it was a signing that hasn't helped United in any way really. He's got goals, but the team has gone backwards, and it's so it makes me question all the stuff you hear about, marketing, the marketing department making signings and all that kind of stuff. It makes that stuff in my mind was kind of going away a little bit, because of you sign a player like Varane, you got on a really good deal. You get a player like Sancho, who's widely tipped to be a future world class player. He's been putting up trees. They have Donny van der Beek when they signed him last season. Was really highly touted. Obviously, it hasn't really worked under Ollie, but maybe he'll get another chance now. They've made good signings, but then you stick Ronaldo in there, and it doesn't really make sense, other than the fact that their kit deal is coming to an end in 2 years, and they probably want to boost their numbers so they can sign another bumper kit deal when the Adidas one expires.
I mean, we've been at the hands of Adidas or Adidas, whatever you choose to say it, when they terminated their agreement with us, saying we're not the football club that they thought we were, and we weren't going in the direction that we wanted them to go in. I've been on a pod this evening with three in midfield to big up those guys, because it was really, really enjoyable with Kojo and a couple of the other guys, Darren. This idea that we are Manchester United, that can't be a statement anymore. We used to say, but we're Liverpool, and we used to get told to shut up during the 90s and the noughties when we couldn't win anything. And justifiably so. They must have been fed up of hearing that comment. Manchester United have no God-given right to be anything anymore. They are where we were in our difficult days. The similarities are frightening, aren't they?
Yeah, it's funny. I was on Twitter yesterday, and that clip of Chris Pajak and Steve Howson resurfaced from a few years ago, where Steve's like talking about Mourinho, Stephen Howson rather, not Steve. I don't want to tie you with the same brush, but yeah, where he's saying, "Oh, Mourinho's going to do this, Mourinho's going to do that," and Chris is he's saying he's being very level-headed and kind about it, much kinder than I would have been about it, but he's like, you don't even see it coming. You guys don't even see it coming, and it's prophetic, because everything that Chris mentioned in that video has come to pass, and it's actually just a little bit eerie. So yeah. Hey, Doug.
Stephen Howson's disappeared now. Here's Santa Claus. How are we, mate? You good?
Ho ho ho!
I like that. How are we?
Yeah, we're not bad. We know you're tall, mate. But look at the way the chronological angle of those cameras go.
My face looks massive.
I'm sat in the bedroom at the minute. I'm going to just switch my camera off while I move to the lounge. But Doug, quick thoughts for you for the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer interview. I thought it was a bit odd, a bit sycophantic, and not really the thing we should be doing.
I've never seen a Manchester United manager do that. Like Mourinho didn't get one, Van Gaal didn't get one.
No manager gets one. Can you think? Can you think of any other managers in any club who've got one?
I can't really think of anybody, to be honest. I mean, I don't think Wenger got one. I don't think But Benitez didn't get one. I know that for a fact.
No.
So the whole thing was bizarre, to be honest. I like the fact that Solskjaer said he wanted to do one out of obviously respect to the fans and the players, etc. But I just felt the whole thing was not needed, unnecessary.
Yeah.
See, if you get sacked, if you went to work tomorrow and they said, "Have you got a second, Doug? We don't like what you're doing, mate. We're
Do you know something that Doug doesn't?
performances. I don't know what you do actually, but that's irrelevant. You have to humour me with me here." And they pulled you aside. You wouldn't then say, "Is it all right if I go in the canteen, do a podcast, and say bye to everybody?" Would you?
Not a chance. Not a chance that would happen. No.
No. It's absolutely mental that you should, we'll tell you what we'll do. We'll stick the club crest on the wall. We'll make your eyes nice and red, make sure you look sad, and then we'll say bye to you. Listen, the guy did what he was asked to do, which was solidify the changing room after the Mourinho fallout. It's difficult to not like the guy because he comes across pretty well when he speaks, and he clearly has a lot of passion for the football club, but never was a man more out of his depth than he was during his tenure at Manchester United. So who's going to get it? Who's going to get the job?
It looks like Pochettino, doesn't it? It looks like he wants to move from PSG to Manchester United. I think Pochettino was lauded by a lot of Manchester United fans wanting him to go there when obviously I think when Mourinho was fired, and then obviously Ollie came in a time where they just needed somebody, and everyone was saying, "Oh, at that time, Poch." I don't see Zidane getting it. I don't think Zidane's going to move to Manchester. I think Zidane's eyes are definitely on the France job, so I think Zidane will probably get that job, or maybe PSG. If obviously Poch goes. Apart from that, I can't really see anybody else. I mean, do you appoint another interim and then see if it goes good or goes horribly wrong and then make a decision in the summer? I honestly don't know, but it does look like Pochettino. I will be so amused if Brendan Rodgers gets it, because for me, if Brendan Rodgers gets it, his team's run out of steam. And you look at the way Leicester played at the weekend against Chelsea; they were shocking, absolutely shocking. So I don't think Rodgers is cut out for that Manchester United job. So I think Pochettino is going to get it.
And I shall laugh constantly for a while if the Pochettino gets it, because I think the blend of players at Spurs was as much to do with anything in terms of that run to the Champions League final. They didn't take it on and develop the club. He went to the media for 6 months, whinged and moaned about not being in charge, and ultimately got sacked. He's gone to France. Apparently, his agent's telling everybody he's not happy in France. He's a bottler. He's an absolute bottler. And whilst he did some decent things with Spurs, he's not the answer to Manchester United. That is now the biggest job in world football, bar none, in terms of the project. The same was said about Liverpool when we were looking to head in the right direction. That is the biggest job in world football, but it's not really one very many people want, is it, Rack?
No. I mean, they're obviously casting their net far and wide, but they're only looking for a certain stature of manager. I actually think I disagree with you, Steve. I think Poch is borderline a top manager, and I think there have been various different reasons why he hasn't reached the heights. Even with Spurs, the financial situation there, that he wasn't allowed. They haven't spent too much money. The constraints that Levy put on them. PSG is a funny one, isn't it? But I actually think that, given the question is time, I think he'll. I don't think if he was to come in now, I think he can get into the top four. They're too far behind to challenge. But they've got a strong enough team that I would expect them to challenge next year. If they don't challenge next year, then I would think that his position will not be untenable necessarily, but he would be under a significant amount of pressure from the fans more than anything, because the fans are they were going absolutely bananas over the last. I've been in spaces even since the sacking. I've been in spaces where Man United fans have been going at Ollie and the board and all that kind of stuff. But I really, really hope they don't get Poch, because I think he's got the makings of a manager who can build something long term.
I guess we'll look at that at some point down the line, and one of us will be proved right, one of us will be proved wrong.
I hope to God, if he does come in, you're proved wrong, right? If you're proved right, because
and if I am, I will not let you forget that.
That's fine. I've many a bad take I've had over the years. So
the other thing is, in your point there, that I don't think they have got a great squad. I think they've got a great squad in the final third. With the options available to them, and I would take Anthony Martial out of that equation because I just don't think he does anything when he plays.
Yeah.
Come back into midfield. Obviously, you've got Bruno, who a lot of people are asking to be captain, and the rationale is because he stood behind Ollie going, "No, don't blame him, blame us. Don't blame him, blame us," type of thing. That's great. We just lost 4-1 away at Watford. That's not good enough.
Do you think though? Do you think though that Bruno Fernandes is being affected by Cristiano Ronaldo? It's obvious. It's completely obvious to me that he was the main man last season. Look at Ronaldo coming in. He's now the main man. Bruno's play is being affected by Ronaldo.
All of these prima donnas, stroke Maradonas, all have main character syndrome, don't they? You know what I mean? They all want to be the big guy. Back to United's squad. You'll never get a double pivot out of the players that sit behind Bruno. Matic is like the slowest player on the planet, and as soon as you play him, he's a target. McTominay and McFred, it's all been said, hasn't it? Just doesn't work, does it? And then behind that, you've got Rafael Varambulance, who's injured every couple of weeks now and misses a month. That's a great name.
That was a really good one.
Yeah, I like that. I saw that on Twitter, and I unashamedly stole that. So whoever it was, I apologise, but I'm going to dine out on that for a little while.
Varambulance, I love that. Fantastic.
And then you've got the fridge, and then you've got
the freezer.
Yeah, mate, absolutely. It's like a fitted kitchen back there, isn't it? It just doesn't move anywhere.
You know what the maddest take is like? Obviously, everything about Maguire's been said, everything about Lindelof's been said, but every 6 months or so, this campaign starts for Eric Bailly to come back into the Man United back four. And I'm like, have you guys got memories like goldfishes? Because it's absolutely, the guy's an utter liability. Like, I remember the 6-1 game against Spurs. His career at United, he's been injured, I agree. But people will say, oh yeah, give him a run of games. Give him a run of games and he'll prove himself. Give him a run of games and he fails miserably. And then the fridge comes back on, or whoever else, or someone takes.
To be fair, Rack. In all kindness to Eric Bailly, he's scored an own goal against Liverpool. He's become the first Eric to score in the Manchester derby since Eric Cantona. I suppose we need to give him a little bit of credit.
Fair point. I'll take it back.
Imagine writing on your resume, I am the next. Since Cantona, I was the next Eric to score in the Manchester derby. Imagine having that as your unique selling point when you're sitting in front of another club to go to. But he's better than Lindelof. That's the thing. He is better than Lindelof.
I mean,
the difference is, Steve, Lindelof will give you consistent 6.5 out of 10 performances. Eric Bailly will give you an 8.5 and a 4.5. And in defence, I would argue that probably better to have consistency than something that's completely unpredictable.
I'm just laughing because both of those numbers add up to 13 across 2 games. Just sort of a quick bit of maths there. So I don't know what your point was, but I like it. You carry on. So anyway, that's enough on Manchester United. Because although we're on a Manchester United channel, we should pay homage to Ollie. I'm personally gutted he's gone because everything was great for us when he was there, wasn't it? They're in turmoil at the moment. They really, really are. So we've been there, guys, haven't we? We've been there when we got told to shut up and know our place in English football. And you
know what? At some point in the future, whether it be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, we'll probably be there again. And that's football. It's cyclical. These things happen over time. and the only variable is how long it's going to take for you to come back to a cycle of winning, and then at some point a cycle of losing will inevitably come. But
the big plus is when we were going through our hell, social media didn't exist.
it's
Now
true.
it does. We all get to slaughter them on a daily basis.
And,
Have
and
great
we
fun
won
doing it.
we won 2 European Cups, got to 4 European Cup finals.
Crikey. Can you imagine social media at the time of Roy Hodgson? Jesus.
Mate, do you know what? I was talking about this on a pod the other day. If 2001, the 3 finals that we won in 2001 had been open to Twitter, we should have lost the Wellington Cup final. We came from nowhere. Imagine the Arsenal fans about Honcho's save on the line, mate. And then the 4-4 game with Alaves when Jelly scored the deflected own goal for the golden goal. Because we'd have broken Twitter that night, mate. And imagine Istanbul. Imagine Istanbul 3-0 down at half time. So
yeah,
I think timing is all great, and social media will allow us to do what we need to do where Man United are concerned. But they've got a pretty difficult time ahead getting back to where they think they'd like to be, and you have to earn that right, and they're a long way away from that at the moment. So yeah, just 1 second. It's not a Norway hoodie, Chris. It's a Napa Papajari, mate. The Norway ones are like 12 quid. This was like 100. So come on, get it right. What's this Sing Your Dialect? Aaron Ramsdale was sat in a space earlier called Sing Your Dialect.
I honestly have no idea.
Sing Your Dialect.
I think spaces are getting shut down. Have you seen some of the subjects that have been screenshotted? And yeah I think spaces will be gone soon. They're too angry, mate. Everyone's really, really fired up on there. Yeah, so cool. Anyway, let's talk about what we came on to talk about. It's not Gareth Southgate. So, Doug, we've done that. All right, don't worry. We're not going to talk about Gareth Southgate.
Yeah, I think that's a disgrace. The fact that they've given him a new contract before a World Cup is ludicrous. So, we'll see.
Well, it's pretend football, international football, isn't it? It's really not what clubs are anymore. It's for me, it's second rate. It really is. And proven by the fact that Gareth Southgate's doing a great job when, as a club manager, he was let's say less than average. So anyway, Football Capital, how are we doing, lads? Good evening. Welcome to the pod. Enjoy. We're going to talk Liverpool. We just missed all the Manchester United debacle, and we've had a bit of a laugh. So we don't care because it's funny. So on to the game, Liverpool 4, Arsenal 0. I'm going to come to you first, Rack. What did you think of the team when it came out? Were there any surprises?
I wasn't sure about the Ox selection, I'll be honest. And a lot of people have come out and were really praising of his performance. I thought he did okay. I didn't think he was outstanding, but in general, I thought everything else was to be expected. And there's no reason to kind of throw any curveballs in there or anything like that, or play random players in random positions. And the team delivered.
They absolutely did deliver. Doug, were you surprised by it? Because I think a lot of people, myself included, thought Konate might get the nod to try and nullify Aubameyang's pace. Obviously, that didn't happen. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I was absolutely in agreement with you. I thought Konate would have started over Matip, just to obviously deal with Aubameyang's pace and Smith Rowe and Saka. But it kind of turned out that we weren't really threatened. I mean, I can't remember Arsenal. I think Arsenal had 2 shots on goal the whole game, and one was a Lokonga long shot that was saved very well by Alisson. I think Aubameyang had a shot saved by Alisson's foot as well. But I wasn't surprised at the team. I thought Tsimikas would come in anyway. I did not want Robert to play this game regardless anyway. Keep him fit for further games. Batman, like I said, wasn't in big games. Yeah, I'm quite shocked at that. No, I'm not really. But I thought Ox did okay. I thought Ox actually did really, really well in that midfield, and I thought Thiago was very, very good. I mean, eye of the needle passes as usual as well. And yeah, it was. I think it's that kind of game where you think, Arsenal kind of played into our hands ever so slightly. I thought Arteta was very naive in his selection. I'll be honest.
I love that Tavares tweeted, Mo Salah doesn't know who I am at the moment, but come 5:45 on Saturday evening, he will.
Yeah, that was that was quite fun, wasn't it? I mean, he's at fault for the Jota goal, and then he's
doing there?
Just like I don't understand. I don't understand where he's actually going with the ball, because he did really well going past the first player, and then he goes into no man's land. He just passes it straight to Jota. You have to say Jota's finish. I mean, he sent Ben White back to Brighton. He sent Aaron Ramsdale back to Sheffield United. It was a brilliant goal, but
they both came back with pasties, didn't even Greg's mate. No, they got absolutely.
Yeah, but I was absolutely amazed. Kieran Tierney did not start that game.
Is he fit?
I think he was fit. I don't think he picked up any injury for Scotland the other day there. So I was amazed that they didn't go with the tried and trusted of Kieran Tierney. I understand the Tomiyasu. Because Tomiyasu is the main right back, but I was a bit surprised that they had someone so raw as Tavares in this game. I thought they may have gone for the tried and tested of Kieran Tierney, but obviously not to be.
Kieran Tierney's a really good player. The only thing that will always be levelled at Kieran Tierney is he can't stay fit.
Yeah.
And that's a shame.
How old is he?
He must be 25 now. He must be
25
now.
He's a few years young. He's a few months younger than Andy Robertson.
Oh, okay. I thought Robbo was maybe a couple of years older than that. I thought he might have been 26, 27, but
no, I was surprised Tierney stayed in Scotland as long as he did, because we've all known about him for 3 or 4 years now, and I'm surprised it took as long as it did to get him out of there, because generally the talent gets picked off, especially when it's young. So the game itself. So the obvious question I have to ask you guys is, how naive as a manager is Arteta to get involved in what appeared to fuel the fire of not only the fans but the players too? So I'll start with you, Doug. Lesson learned? Did he not learn anything watching Frank Lampard tried the same thing? Does he not learn anything?
I mean, someone actually wrote on Twitter that Klopp has actually done it to, what was it, Fergie, Lampard. I think there was another one as well. But yeah, the one person you do not go for is Jurgen Klopp. I mean, I don't know. Yes, I know that. Oh, the Arsenal fans, like AFTV aside, are just going bananas at Sadio Mane for not being sent off for that kick on Tomiyasu. I mean, come on, like it's not a red. It's not even a yellow either. But yeah, Arteta was incensed. But I think he just has to have a look at himself. Arsenal are not learning their lessons from past experiences at Anfield. They just play into our hands so easily. I mean, 4-4-2 against our 4-3-3, ridiculous.
I think they are the English Porto, because we seem to score loads of goals against them, don't we? It's like 4 goals every time we play them. They really are there for it's cannon fodder, isn't it? They're not there, and you're quite right. Listen, I have it on very good authority from a very, very big Liverpool account, social media account, that our bench is very difficult to sit near, because they're very aggressive and they do wind people up, and they're not very nice. Which is fine, because it's a competitive thing and it is what it is, and there's always officials there, but apparently they're pretty intense and they do wind a lot of people up. And Linda's is probably chief culprit, apparently, mate. So yeah, I've that on good authority from a very big, several 100,000 follower account that Liverpool have. And it doesn't surprise me, because when I was a semi-professional manager, I got another manager sent off because I knew I could wind him up, and he was a bit volatile. So I wound him up and he got sent off. And then his assistant manager says to me, "You got him sent off."
You're a shit house, mate. You're a shit house.
Yeah, absolutely. Don't deny it, mate. And And his assistant manager says to me, "You got him sent off." And my reply was, "If you don't shut up, I'll get you sent off as well. Sit down and watch the game." So it happens, and it's part and parcel of the gamesmanship. It's all sports psychology at the end of the day, and that's something I'm quite interested in. So the game itself, that was the trigger, wasn't it? Rack, do you think that was the trigger because the volume went up in the ground and Liverpool seemed to be energised by that, didn't they?
Yeah, this is the thing. Like, I know Lampard did it, but Lampard did it at an empty Anfield. Klopp's our guy. If you come for Klopp, we're coming for you. And and they, I don't know if maybe, what you say about the psychology of football is interesting, Steve. Because I wonder whether he maybe had a plan to do something similar to that, like that, to show to his players that, or whether maybe it was a spontaneous thing. But I can understand if he tried to do that to gee his players up and show them that we're in a fight. I'm here fighting with you as well. But the difference is that if you're that, you can there be fighting with your players. We're there fighting with the whole of the stadium, and it just went up an octave or two. And we were we didn't need incentive, but we were a bit more cautious in the opening of the game.
Yeah, I'd say.
And as soon as that happened, we were quicker with the passes, we were more physical, and we had a few good chances up before then, but that certainly lit the touch paper for what we saw the rest of the game.
If you wake up in the morning and you choose violence, you don't do it when you come to Liverpool, do you? Then you do it at different times. So I think Arteta has to take the L for that one because that was really, really naive and foolish. And I suspect he's been spoken to by his hierarchy about that because it's really not clever. It didn't look good, did it? And ultimately, it inspired Liverpool to another resounding win over them. Just coming to you, Doug. Why do you think Arsenal persist in trying to play short goal kicks against Liverpool when they put one man on one side of the box, one man on the other side of the box, and we stand our front three directly in front of them? I can't understand that. Sometimes you have to bypass that.
Again, more naivety from Arsenal. There was actually one incident where Ramsdale actually kicked the ball, and I think Salah almost got a touch to it. If he gets a touch to it, he's probably lobbing him into the back of the net. But why you play short passes? I mean, we're probably the best ones to do it. I mean, I think us, Chelsea, City are so good at doing that. Yes, Arsenal have started really to get that pass and movement back into their game, but when you do it against the Liverpool, it just doesn't work. And I look at the way that they actually played as well. I just thought that, yes, Aubameyang is obviously up front on his own. I was amazed that Pepe didn't start this game because Pepe gave our defence a torrid time. I think a couple of seasons ago, I think it was the season when we won the league. He gave our back four a bit of torrid time. The problem with Arsenal is they're going to be playing the young players that they're playing, Smith Rowe, Saka, they're going to suffer from burnout if they're not careful. They've been playing, I think, constantly since lockdown 2020. When football first returned, Saka hasn't had a break since then. He's going to get injured. Smith Rowe is only starting to come in very, very soon as well. They're going to suffer from burnout, but again, it's more naivety from Arteta. He obviously hasn't learned from the 3-1 last season, and I suppose it's kind of nice to break the trend with the 4-0 because quite recently the fixtures were 3-1, 3-1, 5-1, and then 4-0. So it's nice to get another 4-0 in there.
Do you know that, as I say, we just seem to like playing against them, don't we? So it's an interesting one. Sadio Mane's performance, Rack. What did you make of Sadio? Never mind the nonsense with Tomiyasu, because the thing that they all went up in arms on the bench is two guys airborne. They don't even know each other's there, and then there's that silly little thing that he got booked for, which is that's creeping into his game. That petulant streak. I don't know whether it's helping him be more ruthless on the pitch, because this isn't the Sadio Mane of last season, but it's not quite the Sadio Mane of 18-19, is it?
No, I mean, look, the scissor challenge off the pitch, it's a yellow card. I don't think anyone can have any complaints really, and that's fine. The going up with the ball for Tommy. Sorry, I know you said you didn't want to address it, but quite frankly, it's preposterous. And anyone that thinks that that's like anything more than it's not even a free kick. Like they're both going for the ball. He's not like swinging elbow leading. Anyway, forget about all that stuff. Look, Mane is proving to be very effective in front of goal and getting vital goals. He's not being as creative as he has in recent seasons. So it seems like maybe his game has changed a little bit. He's not as direct in terms of taking players on, but he's getting in the box and getting vital goals for us. What's he on now? Is he on 6-7 league goals?
Yeah.
No, obviously Lukaku. I mentioned this last time. I think Lukaku has been off injured for a bit, but I think Lukaku's got 3, so he's got double the £100 million striker. And look, I think if we are going to do what I think we are capable of doing this season, we need goals from not just from Mo. We need goals from everybody. Jota getting on the score sheet, Sadio getting on the score sheet. All this stuff will contributes. We'll have a few more goals from the guys at the back for offset pieces and stuff like that. That's another vital outlet. But it's normal for players as they age and progress for they adapt their games, and maybe this is just an adaptation of Sadio becoming more of a. He does miss some chances, and it can be frustrating when that happens. But as long as he keeps getting in those positions, he'll get his fair share of goals. And just in terms of a target, off the top of my head, I would expect him if he's not getting 18 goals this season. I think that should be his target.
No, that's a fair comment. Doug, do you like this aggression that he's found? Do you like this new aggressive Mane, or do you prefer the smiley one we saw when he joined the club? Because he is more aggressive, isn't he?
I suppose, yeah. You'd have to say he is more aggressive. I think he's been a bit unlucky with the number of goals that he scored. I think he should probably have a little bit more. You remember the 10 chances he had? I think it was against Leeds. 10 chances before he scored one.
Yeah.
At least he's making the chances, which is the main thing. He's obviously not finishing them, but he is very deadly with his head. I think I've noticed this a little bit. I think he's deadly with his head, and I think he is getting a lot better. And I agree with Rack. I think if he can get 18 to 20 goals, I think that'd be a very, very good season for him. I think if Jota continues to be, he's probably going to get 15 to 20, and then you've obviously got Salah, who will probably be 20 plus. So the more that we get goals from the front three, except Salah, then it'll be very, very good.
Well, I just looked it up just now. So Mane is joint second with 7 goals, and Jota is joint 5th with 5 goals. So you've got 11 from Mo, 7 from Sadio, 5 from Jota, and Bobby's probably somewhere further down with, I think he's got 4. So yeah, Bobby's got 4. He's joint 9th. So we've got all of our front 4 players, if you like, are in the top 10 in terms of goals. So they're doing their bit in terms of scoring.
Yeah, absolutely. The third goal, the Salah goal, that move was electric, wasn't it? It was reminiscent of sort of heavy metal football. The speed, the neck power on Jota to play that header through for Mane to run onto, and then the cross and finish. Talk me through the goal, Doug. What were your thoughts on that?
Oh, brilliant goal! I seem to remember, was it a Simicast cross onto Jota's head? Mane, Salah. It was very, very good. I think we all kind of wished that Salah would be on the score sheet eventually. I think we knew that he was going to be on the score sheet eventually, because obviously Mane got one, Jota got one. I think Salah was always going to be on the score sheet. I think we needed that, because people have been saying, "Oh, he's on a 3-game goal drought." Well, that's been obviously well and truly put to bed. And no, I think his all round play in that game deserved the goal for me. So yeah, nice to see him score, and he won't get an easier goal all season.
Because he gets a bit tries too hard as the game wears on, and he's not got his goal, doesn't he? He takes. There were 2 or 3 instances when other players were in better positions, and he still went for it. Now you can't criticise a guy for doing that because his output's ridiculous, and where would we be without his goals? But there was a time when he had a shot and there was a pass on, and you could see Klopp trying to get his attention, and it never really happened. But yeah, it was good. So, Rack, we talk a lot about, you and I have talking a lot about Jota and the fact that he's not Bobby and he can't play the sort of 360 role in the middle in the same way that Bobby does. So we do something different. Did he play well for you? Did you see things in his game? Obviously, he scores and he assists almost. It's the pass before the assist, isn't it? What did you think of his performance?
He hasn't got the same level of link up play as Bobby. We know that, but in terms of link up play, Bobby is amongst the best in the world in that false nine. They're it's a very, very specialist role, and very, very few players can play that, let alone play it to a high standard. So we're always going to miss that to some degree. And then if that's happening, then we need to kind of make up for it somewhere in terms of creativity and passing ability in midfield. I thought Jota did okay. He took his goal. I tweeted at the time, cool as a cucumber, because that's exactly what he was. I mean, Bobby's left a few Arsenal players kind of sprawled across the ground for that goal. One of the goals that he scored, and is that hat trick that he scored against Arsenal. And Jota did something similar, and that was probably the goal that sealed the game for us, I think. He's different. He's obviously different, but sometimes it's not necessarily the worst thing to have something a bit different. That goal killed the game, in my opinion. I don't think after we got that, I don't think there was a chance of them coming back. And sometimes that's kill the game early, and then you can rack up the goals, or you can just take your foot off the pedal. When the year we won the league, one of the things we did quite often was get one goal up, and then just kind of be a lot more conservative with how we play. Just look for the openings, and don't go too gung ho. And I think maybe that wouldn't necessarily be the worst thing for us to be doing from now on, because it looks like Chelsea are going to be consistent, City are going to be consistent, and we need to maintain that consistency as well. So I'm not averse to going back to that kind of style where we get a goal up and then just manage the game, control the game, and look for the openings as when they come, rather than look to create. But sorry, I went off on a bit of a tangent there, but yeah, Jota, good enough.
Yeah, he was, mate, perfectly. Another player that's come under a bit of scrutiny, and we've talked about him before, Doug, is Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, who I thought was better off the ball than on the ball at the weekend. What are your thoughts on that? So talk to me about Oxlade while I just plug my charger in, mate.
Yeah, I thought his all-round play was good. I thought his defensive play was actually good. Remember I think there was a ball going into the box, and I think Ox was back very, very quickly. So his defensive side of the game was very, very good. Also, I did like his offensive play as well. And yeah, I think he. The thing with Ox, I think it's all about consistency with him. It's all about him getting minutes to keep him fit as well. But I think if he keeps playing like this way that he does, with all the injuries we've got to the midfield right now, he can get a starting berth in this team. I was impressed with Ox at the weekend, and I hope to goodness that he can stay fit for sure.
Has he started to play himself into contention for not being shipped on in the summer? I mean, if he can perform like that, I mean, he's still got some way to go in terms of what he does when he's got the ball. I didn't think he was great with the ball at his feet, but he set lots of traps and was quite aggressive in his press, and he's certainly got the physical attributes to do that. If he continues to do that between now and the end of the season, are we perhaps looking at a different scenario for him within the club?
I think people were saying he would potentially be on his way out in January, but I think with the injuries, with AFCON coming up as well, I don't think we can afford to let him go.
No, I don't think anybody leaves in January. I know Origi can negotiate with other people about leaving the club in the summer in January. and that's probably sensible. I think that's probably why no one came in with 20 million quid for him, because they all knew we were potentially in the last year of a contract. So in January, I think Origi can talk to people, can't he? So I suspect that will happen. Yeah, I thought Oxlade pressed really well. I thought he set lots of traps. Our press was really aggressive, wasn't it? I was talking earlier. You get teams that press, and then you get that. And I genuinely think, and I pick up this either of you guys, I think in the second half, that's as an aggressive press as I've ever seen us play.
Yeah, for a long time.
So, I don't think anybody in world football, in fact, I know, because we've seen it with Manchester City and we've seen us press Barcelona in the way that we press them, even with their quality. I don't think any team can live with Liverpool when they play like that.
It was interesting. I think I can't remember if it was Shearer or someone made the point in Match of the Day is that we were kind of trying to force them to play in the central kind of channel of the pitch rather than out wide. So we would cover those flanks and get them to start and trying to play through the middle. And then as soon as they played the ball into the central of their midfield, you had the three central midfielders who were all in and around there, snapping at the heels of whoever, and then Jota dropping back a little bit, or Mane dropping back when he was kind of playing in more of a forward, and winning the ball back. And that was difficult. That's why Arsenal found it really difficult to play out, because we were catching them in that central third, and there was just not enough time, and not many teams can play like that. And certainly, if we're one of the top 2 or 3 in the world, if not the top.
I don't think anybody presses as well as we do. It's not just about moving in a unit to close players down. It's about who goes and when they go, because it's just setting traps that we do really, really well. So we set a trap, and whilst that trap's being set, and let's say it's on the left back and he's got his head down looking to play the ball down the line, whilst he's addressing the ball, the second part of the trap's been set and there's nowhere for that ball to go. Mm-hmm. And we won the ball so high up the field on the weekend. We were creating lots of chances, and but for certainly up to the goal, an inspired performance by their keeper, who's proved a lot of doubters, myself included, wrong, by the way. We might have had 5 or 6. What did you make of Ramsdale's performance, Rack? Do you think it was a decent performance?
Yeah, look, I mean, you could argue the goal that he conceded, Sadio's goal, was maybe he should have had stronger wrists, but it's difficult when these things happen in a split second. His performance in general was very good. Lots of people, when Arsenal signed him, were talking about stuff like save percentages and stats like that. And whilst I'm one for stats, too many people, especially on Twitter, they don't really understand the stats that they're using. I can look at your save percentage, but save percentage doesn't tell you hardly anything about the quality of the chances that goalkeeper is facing. And I hope to some degree, maybe this is wishful thinking, but I hope to some degree this makes people who write off a player based on a certain arbitrary stat for no reason, think twice. I probably won't, but he's proving people wrong, and I'm glad, actually, because I've seen certain clips from him since social media. He comes across as a pretty decent, nice lad.
It'd be nice for him to unseat Pickford as well in the goal for England, wouldn't it? It'd be nice for him to be England's
that would be hilarious.
That would be a little nice anecdote on the end of that, wouldn't it? So it would be great, wouldn't it? So moving on to our next league game, which is Southampton at home. More of the same. Is that what we're looking for?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it was a great performance. So I hope so. They weren't brilliant against Arsenal, but the other part of the midfield that I think is vital if we're gonna challenge for the biggest honours, I think, is Thiago and Fab. And
yeah,
I'm glad. I
don't think they've lost a game when those two have been together. No. I think we've won every single game except barring one. I think it was Newcastle away, if my memory serves me correctly. So yeah, those two are very, very important. On Southampton, I did a match preview early. Earlier. It is early.
Ahead of you, Doug.
And I actually spoke to a Southampton fan, and he was saying that Southampton's season hasn't got going. They've been very, very stop-start. They can't get into a momentum either way. And he's actually going to the game, and he doesn't expect Southampton to get anything from the game.
Really? Just another one. Now that sing your dialect. Declan Rice was in that space as well earlier on.
Okay.
I don't think Declan Rice can sing anything, never mind his dialect. So doesn't strike you as a connoisseur of dialect, does he? You know, that's perhaps doing him a disservice. I'm sure he's quite eloquent when he wants to be, but yeah, you know. Quickly backtracking there in case he gets a letter from the solicitor. So midweek game, boys. Porto. What? Give me a lineups. Doug.
Goodness me.
Give me a lineup.
I think we'll see changes. Do we bring Kelleher in for this one? I would probably go. I think it might be a little bit stronger than many people think. I'm going to go Kelleher, Trent, Kanate. If Kanate doesn't start against Porto, then I can see him starting against Saints. I think Van Dijk will come out. I think Gomez might come in if he's fit. Robbo if he's fit, but if no, it'll be Simicast. I think it'll be Fab. I think it will be. I believe Kate and Milner are back in training, but I don't know if they'll be ready yet or not. I think Henderson will come back in. It's so tricky. Ox, and then I think you might see changes at the. I think Salah might play. I think Mino has actually warranted the start for me, and then if he's fit, I think it'll be Divock.
I don't think he's going to be fit. Rack, you know, when we qualified and they spoke to Klopp after the game and said, this gives you an opportunity to rest players. He kind of shut that down because of the prize money that's available. Do you think he might be tempted to go a little bit stronger?
Oh God, that's a difficult one. I mean, I don't believe that Klopp will necessarily make decisions based on how much money we're getting paid for a win. But you know, £2.5 million per win is nothing to be shirked at. But at the same time, we've made 10 million already, so maybe I don't know. I would rotate pretty heavily because there's not really much to be gained from winning this game. Obviously, I wouldn't want to lose, but maybe a draw is fine. But certainly Virgil should come out. Matip should come out.
Tell you what we'll do. So before we close, I'll go through what would normally be our squad, and you guys just say in or out.
Yes.
So
okay.
Alisson.
In.
Yeah, I think we might actually see Alisson. I don't see Kelleher come. I don't know why I said Kelleher now, actually, believe it or not. But yeah, I'll say Alisson.
Okay, Trent.
In.
Out.
Okay, so you go for Nico Williams, would you, as opposed to Trent? Okay, interesting. Matip.
Out.
Van Dijk.
Out.
So you'd go Gomez and Konate, would you? Because you've just taken both the. Okay, fair enough. Gomez form worries me, if I'm honest with you. He's not recovered anything like the form he had, which is, I said it before, which is a testament to how well Van Dijk's come back. This is going to sound odd. Simicast. I'm not saying Robertson, I'm saying Simicast.
In. I don't think Robbo's fit.
I don't think Robbo's fit. We don't have another replacement left back. I don't think so, and he hasn't played that many games, so Simicast in.
Fair enough. Fabinho.
Out.
I want to say out, but I think he'll play in.
Okay. Thiago.
Bloody
he
hell.
needs games.
He needs games.
Yeah, okay.
In.
You've convinced me. I'll play Hendo in the DM role, and Fab can take a break.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Hendo needs a game as well, doesn't he? Would you go with Ox, or would you go with someone like a Tyler Morton? So I'll say Ox.
Ox.
Yeah, Ox.
In.
Okay. Salah?
In.
Out.
He will want to be in.
He will want to be in, sure.
He's an angry man when he's not in, isn't he? Jota?
Ooh.
I've got to say out. The reason why I've got to say out is with Bobby not being fit, if something was to happen to Jota, you really would struggle.
Oh, yeah. Good point. Good point. Yeah, out.
That's changed my mind.
You can tell it working sales, can't you?
But then I'm trying to think who else we play. That might mean change of formation then. Who else? We don't have three forwards other than.
We don't have a change of formation either. That's one thing we never do.
I know.
The 4-3-1-2 was a disaster. I hated every second of that. We are what we are, aren't we?
It's true.
And then you've got Mane, and I think Mane will want to play. Another one who gets angry, and bear in mind we think he's more aggressive this season. Would you tell him he's not playing?
Yeah,
I'm gonna say out.
I'd put him in. Go on, we'll put him in.
Cade Gordon's not available, is he? So that.
Oh yeah, that's a point. Yeah.
Oh, what's wrong with him?
I can't remember what it was, but I just know he's not. I did look at it, but I don't think it resonated with me particularly.
Okay.
I was probably doing something else. So we can't multitask. So
no, fair enough. But I mean, look,
you can't wrap Christmas presents and tune into a pod, mate. So what chance have we got?
It's weird, right? Because Porto are obviously gonna play their strongest possible team. And
I'm going to be honest. I think this plays directly into our hands again. They'll be determined. They need to win this game. They need to win this game because if they don't, then if Atletico beat AC Milan and it goes down to a grandstand finish between those two, I think if they actually attack us, I think it's going to be a pretty much dominating game from us, and I can see us winning comfortably. I really can.
Wow.
I'm
right. Worried. I'm worried that we go under strength and lose a bit of intensity. If I'm honest with you, because that's our strength, isn't it? So that concerns me a little bit. But we shall see. We shall see. So looking at our rivals, just a very quick one before we finish. Chelsea looked good, didn't they? But how bad did Leicester look?
Leicester looked terrible.
They look shocking. I can't believe it.
I think the end is near for Rodgers.
Wow.
Get sacked from Leicester and employed by Man United. That would just be the most funniest thing ever, wouldn't it?
That'd be hilarious.
If he didn't have a job, I think they'd take him, Do you know what? He's been Agent Rodgers, isn't he? He's doing this deliberately. So he gets the old boot from Leicester and gets the compensation, and he goes and takes over them beautiful people that, as he would say it, well, they're not beautiful, are they? But...
I mean, they did say in that statement, didn't they, that they're looking for an interim manager. If Rodgers did get the boot and then he came as an interim, I mean, he might think, I could do an Ollie, come in as an interim and get the job. But I don't know. I don't want to think about this because that'd be too funny.
It's not the answer, though, is it? That there isn't a standout candidate at the moment to to go to United. I don't want to get bogged down on United again. I don't think Zidane wants it. So he doesn't want to learn English. He doesn't like the English press. He's got a pretty good handle on life, if that's what he's thinking, isn't it? That he doesn't like the English media. Who does? But Chelsea were ruthlessly efficient, weren't they? Again, they don't appear to have too many weaknesses. I actually think they're a better side without Lukaku, if I'm being honest with you. He makes them a little bit more one-dimensional in terms of let's play to his strengths, and his strengths are allowing him to isolate defenders and playing the ball down the side of them. So, yeah. And then Man City, Doug, what are your thoughts on Man City?
I think I think they were good, but I think Everton made them look a lot better than usual. That defending, dearie me, I tell you, Michael Keane defend like he does against Liverpool in a couple of weeks. I mean, he's not going to give away one penalty. He'll give away two or three. Some of the defending was shocking from Everton, but the thing is, they really lack something up front. They're missing Calvert-Lewin badly. Richarlison looked really isolated, and when Damari Gray went off, you saw that attacking threat from Everton just diminish immediately. But yeah, City do what City do best. Play to sort of third, fourth gear, and win pretty comfortably.
So is it a three-horse race, boys? Is that what we're going to see? They're going to see three teams stretch away from the rest of the pack. I mean, seventh place now. You can discount United, can't you, from it?
Yeah.
Everybody wants to play them at the moment. I think they'll lose again at the weekend, which will further compound their problems. In fact, they'll become irrelevant for the rest of the season almost. Other than the fact they'll be a banter club because their fans will tell you they win the league at the start of the season, and clearly, we didn't believe that. It is a three-horse race, isn't it? And I suppose, do either of you disagree that it depends how deep we get into our squad in terms of injuries, as whether we can maintain that challenge? Is that a fair comment?
Absolutely. I would say if we're close towards them and between March and April in the run-in, then we've always got a chance.
Mm-hmm. Chelsea are going to have a point at some point this season where a few results, not one, a few results go against them, and we just got to be hoovering up our points and taking advantage of the games that we play in readiness for that, haven't we? Because Man City will pick up points, that's for sure.
Yeah, we have to go into what was it? Yeah, we just need to go into machine mode and just get goals ahead and then just play control games. That's, I think, in terms of results, that consistency we showed, where I think we won 17 games in a row, drew against United, and then won 18 games in a row. I mean,
yeah,
maybe we don't need those kind of numbers, but we need a similar degree of consistency, because that's what the league is all about: high level consistency.
And if you do that, you win the league end off. No one's going to,
Yeah, exactly. That's
the numbers we put up for those 2 seasons, like 196 points in 2 seasons was ridiculous, wasn't it? And
I think in a 38 game run, out of a possible 114 points, we got 110. Which is like drawing 2 games out of a 38 game season. Obviously, it's not a
split. I know what you're saying. It's over that same period, and no one's ever done that.
In any top league in the world.
No, I think we're ruthless when we're good, and we need to stay good, don't we? Right, boys. So we've had an hour, so I'll get some predictions. First of all, for the Porto game, Rack, what do you see the score being?
Be a draw. Let's say 1-1.
Okay. Doug?
4-1. I'm being serious. I'm being serious. I honestly think if they play like they did against us in Portugal, they're going to get picked off bit by bit. And if they play that goalkeeper, then 4-1.
Their goalkeeper was shocking.
Yeah, he was, wasn't he? To be fair, we've had some bad ones, but none of them did that, did they? Well, mind you, Karius' Champions League final thing takes some beating, doesn't it? I'm inclined to agree with Rack. I just think we'll water down the team and lose a bit of our flow and a bit of our effectiveness. And then obviously the weekend's game. What's your thoughts? Come to you, Doug. First, Southampton.
I think it'll be the same as last season. I think it'll be a tight game, but I think we'll score 2 goals later on to win 2-0.
It's very precise, that, mate.
No, I just feel that the way we're playing at the moment, we seem to be easing by games at the moment. So 2-0.
Rack, what do you think?
Hasenhüttl, he does get up for games against us. We know what winning
Got that no game players. Is.
So but when he beat us that time when he started crying, that was very odd behaviour. But I think we'll smack around 3-0 next week. Next weekend.
Yeah, they've got the Lewis Hamilton doppelganger, Theo Walcott, back in their side, haven't they? Same haircut and everything. Yeah, Theo Walcott went to World Cup and he was like 12, didn't he, or something crazy like that, and sat and watched. That was absolutely mental. Why would you do that?
I think that was the only World Cup he went to as well. I think.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Probably justified his inclusion a bit more in that time as well than he ever has since. I think we'll beat Southampton comfortably. I think it'll be a 3-0. I think they are poor. They sold their best centre half in Vestergaard. He can't even get a game at Leicester. Soyuncu has just gone from being like amazing to absolute dross, hasn't he?
Crazy. That's a fall from grace.
Yes.
They're missing Fofana big time, but I think he'll leave when he's in the summer anyway.
I like the look of that that left back they've got, and the name's just gone from me. Livramento
from Chelsea.
He's on loan from Chelsea.
Yeah.
No, he's actually signed, but I think
they've got a buyback clause,
buyback or something like that. Yeah.
And they're looking at doing it, because I think Alonso will leave Chelsea in the summer.
Yeah, but him against Salah will be very, very interesting battle as well. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the game against Southampton. I know Che Adams is on the form of his life, but I remember last season he missed 2 glaring opportunities last season as well. He needs 3 or 4 chances to score a goal. If you get chances against Liverpool at Anfield, you have to take them.
You do, because that even makes that run where we didn't win in all those games even more crazy, doesn't it? And you think that Van Dijk has never lost at Anfield in the entire time he's been at the club. It is becoming a place where, again, and I don't think we'll lose to Southampton, touch wood. But it is becoming a revered place to come to again, and the fans the fans not being at Anfield was massive. We don't lose 4-1 to City, and we don't lose to Everton at all if we've got fans in that ground, because they wouldn't accept the performances we put in, would they? Right, chaps, thanks again as ever for coming on. Sorry to tear you away from your Christmas duties, Doug.
I'm never this organised as well. I don't know what's wrong with me.
It's not like a man thing to do that, mate. I used to charge around Christmas Eve trying to pick up bits and pieces for people, mate. To do it now, what is it, the 22nd of November, and you've done, I bet you're under the tree and everything, aren't they?
No. Wait, no. Believe it or not, I've said to Rebecca, we're not putting the tree up until I think we did it in our house about the 13th. So that would be the traditional one, but yeah, I've just said I'm not putting any tree up until at least December.
Yeah, I think I'd like that, but I don't know if that's going to happen here, mate. I think there'll be something up sooner rather than later, but it is what it is, isn't it? So, right, cheers, great one, chaps. Have a good week. Catch up with you later, and up the Reds.
Up the Reds. Cheers.